It's another one of them days where it never seems to get light. We've had quite a few of those, but it's going to start and get a lot lighter real soon, so we'll be able to grow things a lot quicker. I'm just setting up a container because we've been growing some spring onions, or bunching onions as some people call them, and I think the ones I've got are white Lisbon. So you put 7 to 10 seeds all together in a cell and you grow these onions all together, and then you just take out that entire plug and pop it in ground, and when it comes time to harvest you can just pull up your bunch of fresh homegrown spring onions. However, when we grow them, I don't necessarily grow them for the bulbs, I grow them for the green tops, because they're brilliant to chuck in salads all chopped up, or add to stir fries, and even mashed potatoes. They add a really good flavour. So because I'm only after those top greens, I'll grow them in quite small containers. If you want to get your bunching onions with all the bulbs at the bottom fully mature, then you're going to need to put them in something a little bigger, or put less in a small container than what I do. They need 10 centimetres either way between these sets of onions. I'm just going to pop some in here today. It's one of those tubs that we use quite often through season because we do a lot of container gardening, and I've just added some pre-moistened compost to this, and then I'll add some fertiliser to it, so these onions have got loads of nutrients just to get them on the way. And I've got what's left of that box that got wet and burst. I did save it all, and this is bone meal, so I'll take a good handful of that and sprinkle it in this container. And I'm adding it now so it's not sat on top. I want it at the bottom where the roots are, so then they can get the nutrients as soon as possible. I'm going to pop a little bit more in there as well. And then I'm going to add an handful of fish blood and bone as well. So what we've got there is a mixture of nitrogen, phosphorus and calcium. That's going to keep those plants going for quite a while. And these are the onions that we've been growing. I've shown them here a few times. We only did a few to start off with, but they've come on quite well. They're getting to a point now though where they need taking out of this container. We don't want them getting root bound. And when's best time to transplant your onions? It's when they come to what's called crux stage. If you look at your onions, you'll notice that some of the tops of these onions have started to bend over. What they call the crux stage. So these are ready to transplant. I'm just going to pop one out carefully. And you can see they've got a really good established root system. But it is at the bottom of that little cell. So it's definitely time for a move. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And you probably noticed I've also got beetroots in there growing together as well. They're also multi-sown because you can grow beetroots together like spring onions, and as they grow they'll just push each other apart. So you could have 4 or 5 beetroots all growing in one small area, which is why we do that. And it always works. Before I do anything, I need to top off this compost though. I'm going to add some of this new stuff because the new compost has also got lots of nutrition in it. So I'll just fill this container and then we can get these onions in the container ready for container garden, and then as they grow to a good size and we harvest them, we'll start sowing more so we can keep that process going. I'm not going to sieve the soil for this because they're already established plants, so we're not starting off seedlings. I'm just breaking up the bigger lumps and removing any stones that I find. Onions are very cold hardy, so it's not even going to bother them when we get to -2 over the next couple of days. They'll stand that. They're one of the most cold hardiest plants that there is. So just a little more to finish off this container. I'm not filling it right to the top because we need to make sure it can get water. We don't want it running off and nothing going down to the plant. So now that's done, we'll get these onions planted. First off, I'm just going to level this container. You don't have to if you don't want to, it's just what I do. I like to always work on a nice level base when I'm planting things, so I keep everything at more or less same height. Just something like that is perfect. And then we can take out some of his onions. And you can see that these beetroots are starting to come on quite well. But we're not doing those today. So that one we took out previously was that one. So we just want to gauge how we're going to plant them. A little way from edge like that. And a bit of a gap in between, but not too much. Because we're not waiting for those bulbs. That one has also got really good roots. So I'm going to do something like that, depending on how many I've actually got. We'll have a look. I'll take them all out first, and then we'll know where we are. Sometimes they start to fall apart, but that doesn't matter. Just give that a little bit of a squish on bottom, and they pull straight out. And I think about that will do. So we're going to be putting 10 sets of those in. And I'm going to do that row first. So pretty easy, just holding those by that top. I'll make that hole. We'll make it deep so we can get it in first time without any messing around. So just drop it into that hole and then just firm it down. You don't need to go mad with them, just as long as they're in there. And then we just repeat that process. Just keep them pinched together when you do this. But you can see just how many onions is in this one plug. So you only need a little bit of breathing space when you're doing onion greens. I think that'll do quite fine. And then all we need to do is make us other holes. And obviously we can do that in advance now because we know exactly where we're going. And that's his last one going in. Just keeping them all nicely bunched together. A quick and easy job, and we've now got 10 sets of green onions on the way. There we go, quick and easy job, and everything is now set up, ready for those onion greens coming. We'll water those in before I go back in, but I won't give them too much water just in case it does freeze. So another benefit of growing the plants like we do is because we're collecting the onion tops, we'll wait until they get to a really good size and a bit of thickness to them, and then we'll just go along with scissors and we'll just chop those greens off. We won't pull them out, because if we just chop them off, they'll regrow. And I've done it before in containers, and the tops have regrown 2 or 3 times. So that one container will keep us going for quite a while. And then we'll sow some more seeds, get some more going, and repeat that process in the same size tray. And then we can just keep getting these green onions or onion tops for as long as we want. But just remember, if you want decent sized onion bulbs, make sure you space them 10 centimetres between each plant, and the rows 10 centimetres apart as well. You can get onion bulbs from a container that size, they'll just not be quite as big, so that choice once again is entirely yours. So get your fleece out tonight, you're going to need it over the next couple of days. Cover up your plants that might be at risk. And if you want to see what I'm going to be doing over the weekend, then please hit that subscribe button and press that notifications bell, and I'll see you next time. You take care.